Okay, Year 7, I'm going to go over the next part of our work with decimals, which is dividing decimals. This is exercise 6H. So let's have a think about this. Dividing decimals. Well, let's have a think about just a normal division. So let's say we've got 3 into, let's set that up a bit differently. Let's just go 54 divided by 3. So you set that up like this. 3, and we write this algorithm into 54. And we go, all right, how many times does 3, because now it's got place value, we've put in a place value system. How many times does 3 go into 5? And that's easy. 3 goes into 5 once with 2 left over. And because we're using place value, this is now 24. Now, 3 goes into 24 8 times. And there we have our answer. 54 divided by 3 is 18. And what we've set up over here is a little algorithm. Now, for dividing by whole numbers when we've got a decimal, right, for dividing by whole numbers, let's take 5a. 8.4 divided by 2. Well, we don't have to worry because we're dividing by a whole number. We're not dividing by a decimal. So we set up the algorithm again. And we write 8.4. And we go, all right, 2 goes into 8. Well, that's easy, 4 times. And now because I've got place value, I just put that decimal point up there, because I've set this up as an algorithm that involves place value. Now, 2 goes into 4 twice. And we're done. And my answer is 4.2. What if it's a bit harder? Say, for example, 5e. And we've got 4.713 divided by 3. Well, again, I set up my algorithm. Because we're dividing by a whole number, we don't have to worry. 3, and I just set up the place value system. 4.713. And because this algorithm is set up using place value, I just have to do the same process. So 3 goes into 4 once with 1 left over. And because I'm using place value now, I just put the decimal point in the spot above. 3 goes into 17. Well, that goes 3 6s are 18, so 3 5s are 15. So we go 5 times with 2 left over. Now that's 21 because of place value. 3 goes into 21 7 times. And then 3 goes into 3 once. So my answer is 1.573. Now I'm a bit worried about that. So I'm going to check on my calculator. 4.713 divided by 3. Oh, look at that, and I made a mistake. 3 doesn't go into itself 3 times. 3 goes into itself once. Lucky I checked. That's what you should do. Okay. Let's do one more. Let's do k. because I think k is going to be a bit harder. 3.417 divided by 5. So I set up my algorithm because I'm dividing by a whole number. Because I'm using place value, I don't have to worry. 3.417. Okay. 5 doesn't go into 3. So put the 0 down. I'll put the dot. And I bring the 3 over, and because I'm using place value, it's okay. 5 goes into 34. Well, 5 6s are 30, so 6 times with 4 left over. 5 into 41, because this is 41, place value, remember. Well, that's 8 times with 1 left over. 5 goes into 17. Well, 5 goes into that 3 times with 2 left over. 3 5s are 15. Uh-oh, I better add another digit because I had to go a little bit further. And every time you add a digit when there isn't one there, you add a 0. 5 into 20 goes 4 times. Great. I think my answer is 0.6834. And I've shown all my working, but I'm going to check. So 3.417 divided by 5. And my answer is correct. Brilliant. So that's dividing by whole numbers, even if it's a decimal. But I want to get back to what do I do when I divide by a decimal. When I divide by a decimal. And the answer to this is don't. We don't divide by a decimal. And I'm going to show you why. Let's take this example. 10. Oh no, I won't use 10 because I've got a 10 in it. 8 divided by 4. Well, that's easy. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I wonder what would happen if we multiplied these by a number. Let's multiply them both by 2. And now I've got 16 divided by 8. Well, that's the same answer. It's still 2. What about if I'd multiplied the 8 and the 4 by 10? So if I times them both by 10, if I times them both by 10, well, that would give me 80 divided by 40. And the answer is still 2. What if I divided them or multiplied them both by 100? What would happen? Well, I'd get 800 divided by 400, and that equals 2. So multiplying both numbers in a division by the same number doesn't change it. And that sort of makes sense when you think about a fraction. If I've got 3 on 5, I can multiply top and bottom. And remember, that's just a division. That's 3 divided by 5. I can multiply top and bottom by the same numbers. If I multiply by 2, and I get 6 on 10. It's the same number. And remember that the vinculum means division. So as long as we multiply both numbers in a division or both numbers in a fraction by the same number, it won't change it. Now that's critical to what we're going to do now, because when we have a question like questions in 6, where we've got 6 point, and I'm going to do 6a, 6.41 divided by 0.2. So here's question 6a. 6.41, was it 41 or 14? 14. Divided by 0.2. Well, if it doesn't matter that I multiply them, I'm going to now multiply them by a power of 10 to change that to a whole number. In this case, I only have to multiply by 10. And remember, I've got to do it to both numbers. And this will now be, if I multiply that one by a power of 10, it becomes 61.4. And if I multiply that one by a power of 10, it becomes 2. And I can set up an algorithm for that. 2 into 61.4. Well, that's easy. 2 into 6, 3 times. 2 into 1 doesn't go, so I'll put a 0 and I carry the 1. Because I've set up an algorithm, I'm using place value, I put the decimal point in. 2 into 14, because that's what that is 7. So I believe my answer is 30.7. Quickly go to my calculator. 6.14 divided by 0.2. 30.7. Oh, so this is easy. I don't even have to worry about dividing by decimals. I just make sure that what I'm dividing by is a whole number. Let's do 6c. Excuse me. So if I do 6c, let's have a look at it. 2.114 divided by 0.08. 2.114 divided by 0.08. Now remember, we're looking at what we're dividing by when we're deciding what to multiply by. Let's just check we've got it right. 2.144. So it's not 44, it's 2.144. Okay. Well, if I'm looking at that number 0.08, I'm going to have to get rid of the decimal. I'm going to have to multiply both these numbers. I have to multiply that by 100 to move the decimal point. And if I do that, I've got to multiply that by 100. Now remember, multiplying by a power of 10 just moves the decimal point. So this will become 214.4. I've moved the decimal point 2 spots. And this becomes 8. I've moved the decimal spot 2 spots. I set up my algorithm, and because I'm using place value, it's all nice and easy. 214 decimal point 4. Okay, now the long division is hard. 8 goes into 2? No, it doesn't. 8 goes into 21. Well, that goes into it twice. 2 8s are 16. So I've got 5 left over. 8 into 54. Well, I know 7 8s are 56. That's not quite enough. So 6 8s are 48. So 6 with 6 left over. Put the decimal point in. 8 into 64, well, that goes 8 times. So I think my answer is 26.8. I check on my calculator. 2.144 divided by 0.08, 26.8. Now these are difficult. You need time to practice. I'm going to do one more and then you go off and have a go. So why don't I try F, 6F? You might like to have a go at it before I do it. It's a nasty one because it's a 7. 45.171. So here's F. 45.171 divided by 0.07. Double check, make sure I've got the right answer. Question 45.171 divided by 0.007. Okay. Well, again, I look at the thing I'm dividing by. Oh, I've got to move that 2 decimal points. So I'm going to multiply both numbers by 100. And remember, it's not going to change it. So I've got to move the decimal point twice. 1, 2. So this becomes 4517.1 divided by, and I'll move the decimal point twice here, 7. Okay, now I'm cooking. 7, I set up my algorithm. 4517.1. It's going to be hard because 7 times table is difficult, but give it a go. 7 into 4 doesn't go. I could put the 0 down, but I don't need to. 7 into 45. Well, 6 sevens are 42. So 6 with 3 left over. 7 into 31. Well, 4 sevens are 28. So 28 to 31 is 3 left over. 7 into 37, well, that's 5 sevens are 35, which will leave me 2 left over. I'm going to put the decimal point in now for place value. 7 into 21, that goes 3 times. So I think my answer is 645.3, but I'm going to check. And my original question, 45.171 divided by 0.07, 645.3. Now, if you can do these, you are very good. But remember, you need to check on your calculator and know that we don't divide by a decimal. We multiply by powers of 10 to change the decimal. All right, good luck with those.